If you want to run a successful business, you're going to need leads. In this video, I'm going over my 5 proven lead generation techniques for any business. Let's jump in. All right, and welcome back to another episode of the Liquis Digital Marketing Podcast. Today we are talking about lead generation techniques for your business. Okay, so let's jump right into this list. The first one on the list that we are going to talk about is lead magnets. So what is a lead magnet? Basically, a lead magnet is some form of a document or a download or a guide that is going to offer value to your audience. So some form of value. Maybe it's a how-to guide, maybe it's a checklist, whatever. A lead magnet can almost fit into any business. The tip to creating a good lead magnet is the lead magnet needs to solve your audience's pain point. Think about what pain point keeps them up at night. So your lead magnet needs to solve that. The second thing your lead magnet needs to do is be a gateway into your service, into your next offering. Like, what do you offer next? So it should be like the stepping stone, the first step. It should educate them, it should give them value, and position you as an authority and a leader and build trust and credibility with your audience. One of the main problems I see with lead magnets and why most lead magnets fail is not necessarily because of the content of the lead magnet, but primarily because of the title. And this is good news because this is one of the easiest things you can fix and test. So as experts in our industry, we're really good at solving people's problem with the service we provide. We know all about that. But what we have a hard time with is speaking to the audience in a way that makes sense to them. So a lot of times we'll title these lead magnets with really ambiguous and kind of cute and with titles that don't really spell out what it does. The title of your lead magnet should be very clear and concise and not ambiguous at all. It should be very clear. They should know what they're going to get in this lead magnet or what problem it's going to solve. All right, so let's talk about how to implement this. So how to use it. So first off, you need to set it up on your website. And without getting too technical, very simply, what you want to do is create a page on your website for this lead magnet. That way it has its own URL you can direct traffic to. Once you have this page, you're going to want to obviously put information about the lead magnet, like what are the benefits that they're going to get. Then you need to insert a form, and there's a ton of form builders out there where basically you're asking for, I would say, their first name and email address, and that's it. Keep it short and simple. I like the first name because it allows you to know who they are and provide a personal touch to your follow-ups. Okay. Then, of course, the email, because you need to send this lead magnet to them. And that is the title of your form is, where can we send you this free lead magnet? Okay, so now they give you their email address. They submit the form. You set up this form now to then send them this lead magnet. And obviously, you've collected their email address and have it into your own lead automation system, which is a whole another topic. And I actually have some podcasts on that, so you can go back and look at those. But that's the lead magnet, right? You're creating this document of value. You're providing it through your website in exchange for an email address. Lead magnet, lead generation. The next step to this is you need to promote it, right? So you got to let people know it's there. So what you want to do is you want to take this URL and you want to put it in your bio, link it in your bio. So whether you're using Linktree or another service, I actually don't recommend Linktree, but there's a bunch of other services that you can use for just your bios. Basically, you want to link it in your bio so it's easy for people to find. Then when you're creating your social content, you want to include a call to action for them to go download this lead magnet, and they can find it with the link in your bio. All right, so that's how you promote it. All organic. You can also run some paid advertising to it if you would like. And that is a good segue into our second lead generation technique, and that is paid advertising. So this is probably a no-brainer. You can run ads and then get leads, but it's not always that simple. So we're going to talk about a couple different things. First is Google AdWords and social ads. Google AdWords is basically you go to Google, you search a keyword, and some ads pop up. Social ads are you're scrolling through your social media platforms and boom, an ad pops up. So there's a huge difference in between these two types of ads. Google ads are what we call intent-based ads. People are seeing this ad because they have intention. They went to Google and searched a keyword and now are viewing or seeing your ad because you targeted the keyword they're searching for. So they're actively searching for you in some way. Now they're seeing your ad. Social ads is interruptive advertising. They're just minding their own business and you've targeted them because of some demographic or some interest, and now you're showing them your ad in their feed and interrupting their flow. So huge difference in your approach, because if someone's intentionally looking for you, what you're going to say to them is going to be vastly different than if someone's just scrolling through social and sees your ad. Right? So you, on a social interruptive ad, you really need to grab attention and add value. In AdWords, you need to show them how you're different and give them the call to action to take action versus taking action on the next ad. Why should they click on this versus keep scrolling? Okay. That's the big difference between Google AdWords and social ads, and I have actually another podcast on all of that, so you can go back and look at that. With this paid advertising, and I'm going to just really kind of gear towards social ads, right? So we're looking for cold leads. We're looking for people that don't even know about you. We're trying to get them interested in your lead magnet. So incorporating your lead magnet into your social ads, right? So running an ad for your lead magnet, they click on it, they go to your download page or your lead magnet page where they can fill out the form and download, right? Previous step we just talked about. So that's one way. Another way is using a retargeting technique in your social ads. So a technique I like to use is to leverage Reels and TikToks, right? So if you're creating these short form, valuable videos that are going to give some value and then have a call to action, then take that video and run a Facebook, Instagram, Reels story ad for video views. So you're going to basically create a campaign with the video view campaign objective, and you're going to run this ad. And you're going to have to select maybe, a little bit of targeting just to try to get the right people. Don't over target it. Have a big audience. And then you're going to create in your Facebook ad account, you're going to create an audience of people who've watched a certain percentage of that video. Let's say it's, depending on the length of your video, 25%, or maybe it's 5 seconds. I would say, if it's 15 seconds, I don't know if your video is only 20 seconds, so that means they watched 75% of it-ish, if I did the math correctly there. So I can't really say do a certain percent or a certain amount of time because I don't know how long your video is, but you don't want it to be really quick, right? You want it to be if they watch 25% of it and then or more. So the more they watch, the theory is the more of the video they watch, the more of that person is in your targeted audience, right? So we have this audience that, let's say they watch 25% of your video. Now you're going to create another campaign and you're going to target all of the people that watched 25% of that video. And you're going to promo your lead magnet in this ad. So that's retargeting, right? You're basically providing a no ask, just value video. People are watching it. If they're interested, they watch more of it. Now you're taking the people that watched more of it and running a specific ad to download a lead magnet. So you're warming up that cold audience. You're introducing yourself. So that's a technique. Okay, give it a try. Let me know how it works. All right, the next lead generation technique that really, I don't think anyone's really talking about, and that is creating utility. So here's a quote from Jay Baer that I think is really good here. If you sell something, you make a customer today. If you help someone, you may make a customer for life. So basically what this is utility. So what is utility? Utility is, by definition, something that is useful. So in marketing, it's providing value. It's being useful and being a utility. So that's what a utility is, right? It could be like the utility of someone's time. It could be like you're offering something of value that's going to reduce their amount of time. So you're going to make the process faster. So that's a utility in marketing. Or, that's an example. But what about utility in lead generation? So utility in lead generation is creating what I like to say a tool. So let's call it utility, and it's a tool that's going to allow them to get some value in exchange for their email address. Example, let's say you are a financial advisor and you have some financial calculator that you can put on your website, and they can get some financial guidance by punching in some numbers and get some report back by entering that information and their email address. They get that information and that report emailed to them or whatever. That's a utility. That's a tool. It's an extension of what you offer. It's a tool to help them in exchange for their email address. This is lead generation. You're getting their email address, right? So now you follow up with them. Now you are a trusted source in your industry. So some other examples. Actually, you know what? Before I jump into the examples, let me go over some like a blueprint to creating a utility, because you might be thinking, well, what am I going to do in my industry? So first off, before you can create a utility, you really need to understand your customers' needs and their pain points. Then map out your customer needs into a useful solution. So what can it be? So let's say you're a macro, like a nutrition coach, and you have a macro calculator, utility. Let's say you do SEO for people and you have a tool that can scan their page and check certain things and give them a report on how their SEO is doing. There's a bazillion things that you can do. Now, once you have it, now you need to obviously market your utility. So you need to get it out there. You need to be able to provide it to people. So that would be a link in your bio or having it on your website, directing them to some landing page where they can access this utility. The other piece of building your utility is it needs to be systemized into a process. So that way it's automated and you're not having to do everything every time someone fills it out. So if it's an audit where people are going to fill it out and you have to manually go do stuff, not a good utility because it's not scalable. It needs to be something that you can systemize and repeat. Okay. And then you need a way to measure results. And that way you know that it's a good utility or not. All right, so that's a quick little blueprint to creating your utility. Some examples out there of utilities that we all know is one, Zillow. That's the utility of real estate, right? So Zillow has services that they provide, but how people use Zillow is they go on and search the MLS and see properties that are for sale. It's a utility. Another one is Neil Patel's Uber Suggest. And ironically, I think I saw him talking about this Uber Suggest, and it's his number one traffic driver, if not number one in the top, right? So this is a utility. This is an extension of what he offers, where you can go in and type in your industry and it's going to give you suggestions on stuff, right? It's a utility. Now think smaller, right? So, okay, yeah, we're not all Neil Patels and have Uber Suggest and these huge apps and these platforms that would cost millions of dollars to create. Get it. I totally get it, because I'm not in that boat either. So let's think smaller. It can even be a downloadable guide or a tool. So if you're a business coach, it could be, how to schedule out your business goals, or it could be how to, if you're a social media advisor, it could be how to schedule out or a social media calendar, or, it could be a ton of different things, right? So you can think smaller. That's a utility. They're downloading it in exchange for their email address. It's a tool that they get to use, and you're providing value to them. There you go. There's a utility. It just has to help their audience. Let's move on to the next one, and that is being the referral. This is an obvious one. I would say majority of the people I talk to in business, the majority of their good clients are referrals. And that goes for us too. No matter what we do, referrals are always our best clients. Or our best lead sources, I should say. So I'm going to go over a few tips on how to be the referral. First off, you need to be top of mind of your referee. The person referring you. I don't know if that's the right word, referee, but the person referring you, you need to be on top of their mind. When someone needs your service, they need to think of you. So you need to feed your referral source. And I actually mean that quite literally. You need to feed them by what I think is a great idea. Send them an Uber Eats gift card, coupon, whatever. Unexpectedly, gift them an Uber Eats. It's unexpected. It's not what people typically gift. I received one not long ago, and I'll be honest, it was one of the best gifts I had received. I was able to feed my family, have meals, and it was no out of pocket. I didn't have to go get it. It came to me. It was wonderful. Perfect gift. So I recommend, if you're building your referrals, you have referrals, or if there's a referral source that you want to get in good graces with, feed them with Uber Eats. There you go. And then lastly, what everyone forgets to do is ask them for their referrals. Ask them. Say, hey, I'm going to treat these people like my brother or like your friend, whatever. You need to ask them and tell them how you're going to help them, their customers, and what you're going to do, and that you would love their referrals. You need to ask, though, because people don't think. People aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. And rightfully so, because that's all you're thinking about too. And me as well. So, okay. The next one is content marketing. So this one's been around for years. Content marketing is basically creating blog posts, creating podcasts, creating social content. Maybe it's your YouTube channel. Maybe it's your TikTok channel. Is TikTok a channel? I don't know. We'll call it a channel for today. Okay. So when you're thinking about making these blogs and these podcasts and these social contents, what you want to think about is the topics, and you want to think about the titles, and you want to address the person's pain points. You want to be a utility again, right? You want to be the answer. You want to be the solution for them. When it comes down to blog posts, you also want to incorporate search engine optimization, right? So you want to make sure that you have the right using the right keywords, and you have the meta descriptions and all of that fun stuff, which we can't get into all the social or the SEO in this podcast episode or this video because it would be way too long. So content marketing, put it out there. Here's a suggestion: when you put out blog posts and these podcasts and these social media contents, have a call to action. So if you have a blog, have a call to action at the end of the blog, in the middle of the blog, whatever. Make sure when you're talking about helping them and you're actually helping them, give them something more, something they can download, link to your lead magnet in your blog post. Okay. And then the last one is creating community. All right. This is a big one, I think. And it's, I think, one of the hardest because it requires so much of our attention. And as a business owner, it's a hard one. So creating community on social is basically reply to every comment. Reply to comments and add comments on other people's posts that make sense. And don't just make a comment with great post with a thumbs up or a heart. That's going to be useless. If you really want to be valuable, add valuable insight. You're better off to just not do it than leave something generic. But always reply to people when they leave you a comment. This is your community. Another way is to create a group. Whether maybe it's a Discord or maybe it's a Facebook group or whatever. Try to move your audience from this social comments to a group to a placeholder where you can provide more value, where you have more of a connection with them. They're in a tighter group. Make that group free and make it accessible to them. Tell them about it. Another way in building community is to join someone else's group. And this might be a no-brainer, but it takes maybe a little bit of time to go find some groups of where your customer is and just troll the comments and troll the questions and provide answers and solutions in a non-trolly way, right? So you want to be helpful to people. So if you can be helpful in comments and give them solutions and not spammy, then you're going to be their trusted source. There you go. And then be helpful. Whatever you do, just come at it with being helpful. If you are trying to build a community and you're just thinking about yourself and your needs and trying to get them into your system and I just need leads and they're just another number, then it's going to fail. You have to be genuine and you have to really be there to help them. So that is my list of 5 proven lead generation techniques for any business. If you like this video, please subscribe. If you're listening to this podcast, please leave us a review and don't forget to subscribe so you can get our next awesome podcast directly to you. Look, I appreciate your time and we'll see you in the next episode.